on average, just in the United States, about 220 people die every single day from an opiate overdose. By the time we finish this show, 8 to 10 people are going to die from an opiate overdose. If we get even one person, one viewer with this program that we might be able to help with some of the information that's shared on here, then it's all worth it. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Dare Me Podcast. Peace. It's your old pal Glenn Victor here, coming to you live from Sacramento, California for a very special edition of the Dare Me Podcast. This is episode number 30. Holy cow. I can hardly believe it. It just doesn't seem like we've been doing this podcast that long, but we have. And man, is that a lot of content when you think about it, because we usually go at least a couple of hours each show, thereabout. So well over 60 hours of your old pal Glenn in his mouth. A lot of content. Hey, I see we've already got, oh my gosh, several viewers chimed in, and my boy David in the chat room already. Welcome, David. We're going to have a very special show today, y'all. We're going to be taking some live callers, and we'll flash that number on the screen. If you'd like to call into the show and talk to us, if you have any questions, we'd be glad to try to answer them for you and things to that nature. So right out of the gate, y'all, let's go live to the East Coast and bring in our co-host and producer, our old pal Dean Baker, live from Orlando, Florida. There he is. How's it going this week, Dean?
Happy Sunday, Glenn.
Yeah,
happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Dean, you and I were talking off the air right before the show. You're already getting in the holiday spirit. You said got the peppermint creamer in your coffee there.
It's not as good as I was hoping it would have been. I bought,
right.
they had that generic stuff. I don't want to mention brands, but WM, what the fuck,
So have you fallen victim to the retail thing where you go in the stores and they've already got the Christmas decorations out before Halloween? Is that what's happened to you?
I'm an Amazon guy. I'll mention them because stuff I don't even notice. I go for groceries and that's pretty much it. The rest of it's Amazon. I stay out.
Well,
of course, I did go to Ross today.
Right.
I did go to Ross, but that's just a discount store. They don't decorate or any shit like that.
Get it.
So.
Well, some of them will probably start playing the holiday music soon.
Oh boy,
it's not even Halloween
October.
Yet. Jesus, it was over 90 degrees here in Sac today. It's supposed to cool off this week, but it's just I don't know, man. They try to start the holiday season early. But anyways, Dean, glad to have you here with us once again. Coming to you live here from Sacramento. Dean's all the way over on the East Coast, live from Orlando, Florida. And who knows where else we might hear from people this evening. Glad to have you here with us on the Dare Me Podcast. Wow, we've got a lot of people already tuned in today.
Wow, look at that.
See how many viewers we're live on like 4 different Facebook pages, half dozen YouTube channels. We're live on LinkedIn. We're live on X, which of course used to be Twitter. We're live on Threads, all the things. You get the idea. And the show is growing, and we're going to be talking about that in a little bit, y'all. But right out of the gate, I want to just tell you a little bit about my story, and then we're going to be playing a video that I've been kind of plugging in different promos for the show this week, and even just within the last hour, because this is what we're calling the California-versary. edition of the Dare Me podcast because it will be exactly 1 year to the day on Tuesday that I have officially been a resident of the state of California. For those that follow our podcast and my story regularly, you know I grew up in the Midwest in Detroit, Michigan, and then I lived in Central Florida in the Orlando area for 30 years. And I moved out here to the West Coast to be near my daughter here in Sacramento exactly 1 year ago. I have a long history, though, with the state of California, whatever that means to you, going way back to the 1980s, been all over this state, LA, San Diego, San Francisco, and now here in Sacramento. And I have fallen in love with Northern California. Never thought in a million years that I would live in Northern California. But, there's a saying I've picked up on around here in Sacramento. This area sure grows on you, and then you're hooked for life. And that certainly has become the case with me. I just love the vibe in this city. Man, you're so close to all the cool stuff. Lake Tahoe is an hour and a half away. It's just awesome. I love it here. I absolutely love it here. Nonetheless, though, right before I left the Midwest, because I moved from Orlando, Florida, and spent the summer a year ago back in my hometown of Detroit, Michigan for a few months. And then right before I left Detroit to come and officially move to Sacramento, I posted what I called a love letter video to all my family and friends in Detroit, Michigan, and it was pretty deep, y'all. Man, I got filled up in the video and basically told my story about my struggles with addiction, which really is what this program's all about. Your old pal Glenn Victor's struggles with addiction. And I've been clean again now for well over 2.5 years. I got addicted to opioid pain medication and then start mixing all kinds of other shit in there with it during my struggles. I've told my story in great detail on this podcast many times. And as I mentioned, this is episode 30. So, if you're interested, you can go back and look at all the other editions of the show. They're all posted on the Dare Me Podcast YouTube channel. That's my favorite platform. I oversee that channel, y'all, and it is completely up to date, by the way. You go right to the Dare Me Podcast YouTube channel, click on the videos tab, and all previous 29 editions of the show are there. And of course, the 30th edition tonight will be posted after we go live as well. So, anyhow, with all that said, y'all, we are let's bring those slides up there, Dean, and add them to the mix. And we got to go all the way back to the beginning, though. Can we get them back to the beginning before we bring them up? I don't want to have to cycle through them all on the screen. Hey, we got Tyler in the chat room. My man Tyler, welcome to the show, Tyler. Yeah, there we go, y'all. We're gonna bring Tyler on hopefully live in just a little bit here. We want to talk about his new song that he just released this week, y'all. Oh man, it's intense. But we're gonna play this video here in just a moment. But I want to show this slide. Thanks, Dean, for getting them back to the beginning there, because I had cycled through them just to look at them before the show. And this is the first one. This is me and my little dog Jazzy when we arrived in Truckee, California, which is just over the border from Nevada. And again, that'll be exactly 1 year ago on Tuesday. We made it to Cali, and that was at a welcome center that we went into and had somebody take my picture there. So I just thought we'd show that photo. But anyhow, y'all, like I said, before I left Detroit, I posted this video. Now, I will give you fair warning, a heads up. This is a long video, y'all. It's 17 minutes long. So it's going to take up a nice little chunk of this show. And then I also wanted to show this next photo. because this is a still shot I took. And if you look close, you can tell your old pal Glenn Victor was getting pretty filled up. This is a still shot I took from the video. And as I posted, a love letter and video message to all my Detroit family and friends and anyone else that may be interested. And then I wanted to show this because this is part of the reason I decided to show this video and hit replay on it on today's show because of some of the comments I got. And, I know it does have people's full names on there, but hey, they posted them on social media. And once we put it out there on social media, it's all out there, y'all. And these are all people who I know and love and are very close to me that I know wouldn't mind me putting this out there. And you can see, man, the feedback I got on that video was just amazing. And God, I get filled up still every time I look at this. And so it's very powerful for me, y'all. And I think it may be for you too. And so I'm dancing all around this. Let's just go ahead and play the video. And then we're going to continue the show on after that. We're going to post the telephone number on the screen after the video and invite people to call in if you like, and we'll go from there. So, Dean, let's go ahead and play the video, and we'll pick up the show live right after that.
Give me a second.
We need audio, Dean. Stand by, folks. We'll get it fixed.
Hold on a second, Glenn. Hold on.
Okay. Well, hey, obviously, y'all, we're having some technical difficulties. This happens when you go live. Anything can happen live. And that video is, like I said, pretty powerful, y'all. So we want to make sure that it's playing properly. And you could see we had the video going, but we didn't have the audio. And without the audio, there's really, no message there for you to hear. So this is what you call banter, banter, banter. I'm just
Hey y'all, it's your old pal Glenn again. Hope y'all are doing good. So, leaving another video. Blows my mind how many people have watched some of those other ones. It shows you how many views on them. So apparently some of y'all paying attention, and hope that yeah, it's entertained you at the very least, watching my antics and shenanigans. So anyways, yeah, this video is in fact a love letter and a video message to all my family and friends here in Detroit. God, here we go again. Trying not to get filled up. This one's going to be hard to get through without getting filled up. I'm going to try. Such a sap. Oh my God. So anyways, yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow in the morning to move to Sacramento, California. As I've said, with some of my other information I put out here on social media, previous video. And it's going to be a while. I'll be out there. Certainly I'll be back to Detroit to visit. I have lots of family here and friends. This will always be home for me. But it's probably going to be quite a while before I come back to visit again. And I'm about to, put some information out there that anyone who knows me that's not from Detroit, that's a friend or family who watches this, is going to find some things out about me that maybe you didn't know. Certainly, I've teased this information in some of my posts lately. And, now I'm about to put it all out there even more once I start this webcast I've been talking about and podcast, which is coming up. It's just taking a little longer to get it off the ground than what we thought. But anyways, that's another story. So, yeah, I am so grateful to all of my family and friends for helping me get to where I'm at right now and through the health issues that I had. I became hopelessly addicted to opiates and the whole pain pill thing, and got pretty bad. It was a 9-year run. Oh my God. I'll be talking in depth and a lot more about this when I start the webcast. That's really what it's going to be mostly all about, is trying to help people get through that shit. Anyways, long story short, y'all, I'm not trying to make excuses for my behavior and the choices I made. I made some bad choices. I'll also say, I broke my ankle. And I had a surgery where they put 3 pins in my ankle. And then a month later, I had another surgery. They took a couple out. And sure enough, man, they tossed me, as doctors and surgeons do. I'm not trying to blame it on them or whatever. Tossed me the Vicodin. It started with Vikes. And, from there it progressed, and it just went on. I never had no business taking any narcs, and I should have told them, hey, I have a long history with addiction. Going back to when I was a younger man, just shy of 25, I walked in an NA meeting for the first time. Back in the 80s, back in them days, man, it was all about cocaine. Yeah, it seemed like everybody was doing it back then. And I got caught up in that, and I was a partier as a kid, for God's sakes, from when I was a teenager till I got clean at just shy of 25. I stayed clean, completely clean and sober, as a lot of my friends and family on here know, for almost 17 years. Had a horrible relapse, drinking, smoking a little weed and shit. I was going through a horrible divorce. And again, I'm not trying to blame it on that. I made my own choices. That was a bad relapse, and it lasted 5 years. And then I got clean and sober again and stayed that way for over 6 years. And then that's when I got hooked on the fucking opiates, man. Again, I ain't trying to make excuses. It all started when I broke my ankle. And then I got freaking cancer. Oh, man. Yeah, so anyway, I had bladder cancer. And sure enough, they found about a golf ball sized tumor. I had to have surgery to have that removed, blah, blah, blah. And man, then that's when it really took off. I was getting Demerol and Dilaudid and Perks and Oxys, and it just, oh my God, it snowballed out of control. And, but for a long time, I was definitely one of them functional addicts, I worked for most of that time. I was very productive, blah, 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 blah. And then, it got really bad them last couple of years. And then the pandemic hit and lockdown and all that. And just everybody was isolating. And good God, man, then it was like the only time I would leave the house was to go get more dope, and that whole thing. So anyway, there's a reason I tell that whole story now. And there's much more coming on that with the webcast, is because I now have, it'll be 19 months on October 11th since I took an opiate. I am completely clean now. I have no chemical. I don't even take cholesterol medication. I'm in the best shape I've been in since I was a kid, I feel great. October 11th will be 19 months since I've put an opiate. Damn. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get through this. Since I put an opiate in my body, I don't know how I was able to do it, because I had pretty much given up on ever getting clean again. I tried for a long time. And again, that's the reason for this video, is to send out my heartfelt thank you. Thank you to my family that helped me and all my friends. Damn, y'all, I'm trying so hard not to get filled up. This is not easy. All my friends in the program. I've been an NA guy for a long time. Like I said, I came in just shy of 25 years old in November of 1986. I walked in my first NA meeting. And, there's an old saying around NA, we have visitors, we have members, and we have lifers. And I often say, man, I'm a lifer, whether I like it or not. And I do like it. I love that I have a program today and all my network and my friends and, NA is my life. Again, even when I was using, oh my God, I'd never thought in a million years after having all those years clean, I would ever go to an NA meeting or convention or function using and high. But I did. And, there's an old saying in the program, and thank God for it, the only requirement for membership, to be a member of NA, is a desire to stop using. And even though I was using all that time, I still had the desire, I knew I was fucking up. And man, it's this battle you go through in your head and the whole thing. So anyways, I've been an NA guy for a long time, and I'm not a representative for all you NA people, the NA police, I'm not trying to represent NA or anything like that. I'm just an NA guy, just another, addict trying to stay clean another day. So, but I will say this, when this webcast and podcast comes, there's another group out there that's really popular right now that's known as Recover Out Loud. So I got a message. And, I'll talk a lot more about that on the webcast. And that's where I'm at in my life now, It's all about recovering out loud, I don't give a fuck anymore. Pardon my French, what people think of me. That's one thing nice about getting older, I'm 60 years old. They say the average life of a guy like me is about 75, 76. I know damn sure I probably shaved a few years out of that because I've always worked hard and played harder. So, yeah, that's one nice thing about getting older is I just really don't give a shit what people think of me anymore. I got nothing to hide. I mean, I hope people think good things about me, especially my children, my family and all that. But I got to be me. I got to be the real, authentic Glenn anymore. And if that, rubs people the wrong way, or they think I've lost my mind, or I'm a nut, or whatever, or I don't give a shit. I'm just trying to be me, trying to stay clean and stay alive another day, have some peace in my life and be reasonably happy. I have shitty days like anybody else does, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy anymore in my life, and I have some peace, because I'm staying clean and just keep trying to do the next right thing. So anyway, obviously, yeah, I'm a talker, and so this webcast and podcast coming up is going to be a great outlet for me. I've had some people tell me, "Oh God, Glenn, this is going to be right up your alley, man. This is a good idea," and I will say I ran it by both of my children. I told them, hey, if this makes you uncomfortable, I won't do it, and I've gotten encouragement, to go ahead with it, and as I said in a previous video, my son even said, Dad, if it helps even one person, it's all worth it. So anyway, I went on this long explanation of everything because of the main reason for this video. And again, I'm trying not to get filled up, y'all, is to send out a heartfelt thank you. I could sit here and name countless people that helped me because I came up to Detroit to kick a little over a year and a half ago. Like I said, I'll have 19 months clean again on October 11th, and I came up and I remember telling my son and my buddy when I came up, I could be back in a month. I might be back in a week. I could be back in a couple days if this thing turns south. And they both kind of said, well, I hope that don't happen. I ended up staying here in Detroit for 4 months, man, 4 months. And I went hard at it. hitting a meeting a day. That turned into 2 meetings a day, that first 10 days, really, I couldn't even fucking move, man. I kicked in one of my sister's basements, in the middle of winter. Uh, oh God, that was miserable. I never ever want to go through that again. I talked about the cancer. Thank God I didn't have to do radiation, but I did do 6 months of chemo, and kicking them fucking opiates was even worse than that. And by the way, I've been cancer free it was 5 years in April. Thank God. They say that if you can go 5 years without that type of cancer coming back again, you're pretty much back to the same chances of the average person of getting again. So hopefully, I'm good there. But, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, with that whole thing. I just don't give a shit anymore. If people think I've lost my mind or I'm a nut or whatever, putting it all out there and showing my ass, as they say, but I truly feel like I'm living on borrowed time. I feel like I've cheated death twice, really more than twice, but recently twice, between the cancer and the addiction to the opiates, because there's some war stories there that I'm not going to get into now. But if that catches your attention, watch the webcast. I'll be telling some of them. Oh my God, it got crazy, as a lot of my friends in the program know, it can get that way. So anyways, I had to send out a thank you to all my NA friends in and around Detroit. I joke around. Most people up here leave Detroit to get clean. I fucking come back to Detroit to get clean, but it worked and it helped me, And thank you so much to all my new friends I met in the program that welcomed me back, all my old friends who didn't judge me and were grateful I made it back, and even my friends from Orlando when I got back to Orlando in the program, because I sent a video message out to all my friends in Orlando. That was kind of geared more toward my colleagues and professional life and all that. I got a big network in Orlando in NA and in recovery, and I am so grateful for all of you, because when I got back to Orlando after kicking, man, I started hitting meetings on the regular there too, and I'm so grateful to everybody in Orlando that welcomed me back and showed me love, and helped me help myself. So anyway, this video has been going on almost another fucking 15 minutes. So anyway, I just can't keep it short, y'all. I try. So I leave for Sacramento, California in the morning. I just got back from a meeting over at the East Side Alano with a good buddy of mine. And I got a couple more videos I'm going to post. I'm going to show y'all where I was living all summer. You'll get a kick out of that one. I got music videos or songs we recorded that I did over the summer I'm going to post, and me in the studio, just all kinds of stuff coming up. If you're entertained following me for whatever reason, you'll probably get a kick out of it. But this one, again, is mainly geared toward all my family and friends in Detroit. My sister, I love you so much. We fight like we don't fight, we argue and take each other's inventory a lot, but I'm so grateful to you for helping me. My other sisters, my brother, all my NA friends, thank you so much. My buddy John, who, we butt heads like crazy. He probably won't like me mentioning him, but I didn't mention your last name, so nobody will know what John I'm talking about. But you'll know if you watch this, bro. I'm thankful to you, and my buddy Bang, and just Brian, and yeah, like I said, I could go on naming people, and I don't want to do that, because I'll be here forever. So if you help me, you know who you are, and I'm so grateful to y'all. And I don't know when I'll be back to Detroit. It's probably going to be a while to visit, but always Detroit will be right here in my heart. It's always going to be home, y'all. So yeah, whew. Trying not to get filled up, y'all. I don't want to end this on a sappy note, So I'll just say, yeah, man, just grateful. And there's some people that are going to see this who will probably be really surprised, from my professional life. But hey, it is what it is, y'all. I am who I am. And I hope, again, that maybe what I'm about to do, and maybe even this video, might help some people. Because, if somebody watching this is caught up in the fucking horrors of addiction, and them opiates ain't no fucking joke, man. There's a way out. It can be done. And I'm living proof of that. So anyway, yep, that's that, y'all. I hit the road in the morning. I'm on my way. Again, I'm not sure how long I'm going to be out there before I come back. And I'm going out there for a very, very special reason that maybe I can talk about a little bit more down the road, just not right now. Okay. It's all going to be good, and I promise I'll be careful on the road. I'm about the safest driver you could ever ride with, so me and my little dog Jazzy and the belongings I can fit in the car. We'll be leaving tomorrow. I had the rest of my stuff shipped out there, and yeah. So that's it. All right. Love y'all. Peace. Bye.
Wow. Whew. I need a second, y'all. Holy camole. Man. I know I said it over and over in that video, try not to get filled up, but man, I'm literally trying not to get filled up. And I certainly did a few times watching that video. Back live with y'all again now, by the way. And wow, that was exactly 1 year ago on Tuesday, y'all, that I posted
Hello.
that video. And I think we may have somebody on the line. You're sure welcome to call. I see we've got several people in the chat room. We got a shit ton of people watching. We are live, by the way, on 4 different Facebook pages, half dozen YouTube channels. We're live on LinkedIn. We're live on Twitter, which is now X. We're live on Threads, all the things. You're sure welcome to call in live. Who we got on the line, Dean?
Yeah, we have a caller. So
Okay.
I think he's live. Caller, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Keep talking.
I can.
Hi, yes, my name is David. I'm a friend of Glenn's. We got sober together back in the day, about a year ago, and he really wanted me to
Is this
participate.
David? Is this David?
David O.
Hey, David,
From
how are you? Welcome to the Dare Me podcast, bro.
Glenn. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Well, thanks so much for calling in, man. I don't know if you remember when I posted that video a year ago, but holy cow, it just gave me some flashbacks of spending all that time in Detroit when I was kicking dope and we met, How you been doing, bro?
I'm doing all right, man. I sadly fell off the wagon a little bit ago, but I'm doing good in terms that I'm working with professionals like my doctor, addictionologist, and my psychiatrist. And finally got to a point in my life where I'm looking around, and in just the past 2 weeks, there's been 3 overdoses. Thankfully, all survived from fentanyl. That just scares the living fuck out of me. And I'm not. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I not allowed to swear?
Oh, no, bro. We don't hold no punches on this show. Yeah, don't worry about it. But thank you for acknowledging that. No, we talk freely.
Yeah. Okay, for sure. But yeah, it just scared me so much, and my opiates is not my drug of choice, but anyways, it could be in anything. You hear about people taking sniffing a line of cocaine and dying now because fentanyl's in it. So it's in everything, and it's truly terrifying. So I got to a point in my life where the drugs just weren't working anymore. Like, I'm telling you, I could take whatever I wanted to take, like, as much as I wanted, but I wasn't getting anything from it. And it got to the point where I'm sobbing. Like, I can't find relief, but I know where that relief is. And there's only one time in my life I ever actually had it, and that's when I was on probation, and I had a good amount of clean time under my belt, almost 2 years.
Right.
For me, that's a because I've never, since I started using as like a 12-year-old, ever would have thought I would have made it that far. But
Right. Right.
in terms of sober, but this time around, like I have, it's all set up. So I'm gonna go to rehab in January, preferably the start of the month, or
Right.
within the first week.
Well,
I
you
don't
know
know.
what?
It's just. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, David. I'm a little bit familiar, with your story and all, and I was thinking, I love that you are making this plan to go into the rehab, the drug treatment center, and try to taper down, wean down on the
Right.
journey to get there. Whereas what happens, as we know, a lot of times, and certainly this happened to me a couple times, it was a knee jerk move and desperation going in, overdose, whatever the case may be. You've been on a long
Right.
journey, as you've shared, and you're planning this, I think, in an interesting way. And I think that you've got a great chance for success doing it like this, bro. So props to you. That's a big
I
choice,
really
man.
And yeah, I mean, I told my managers. Obviously, my doctor knows. I'll have to file FMLA, but I was assured, and I got a lot of support from everybody because they're like, no court's ordering you. No, I live on my own. My parents, don't ask anymore because they've asked 100 million times, and I always said no in the past. So it's like, it's
Hmm.
it's float or drowned, right? Or like sink or swim, right? So I just, man, like life has beat me up so much, and it's my own doings. It's not like I can point fingers at anything. It's me. I did it to myself. And this last relapse, December 7th, 2022, up until present day today, um, I've been, I don't mind sharing my drug of choice because, this might relate to someone who's listening.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
uh, diazepine, specifically Xanax, was my demon and has been since I was 14, and I'm 27 now. So,
Right.
um, like I said, the longest battle sobriety I ever had was my probation term, which wasn't even a full 2 years. It was just under, but I was using kratom during that period. You know what I
Right.
mean? I was crutching on something, right? Um, and so I just, after looking at finances, after waking up every morning in desperate shakes, and like, cripple walking to the my like main room to grab my medicine, I couldn't. I was like, I can't do this. And then after two of my best friends, one of them was already using, and we were using together since I relapsed. And then another one was relatively recent, but nonetheless, to see them not care about their lives really hurt me because I I warned them up and down, like, let me be this living example of what not to go back to. Like, it's not too late for you. And I really had to sadly distance myself from them because, as you know, when we're on drugs, we don't think clear, right? And
Yeah.
and we think we know everything. We think we know best, and uh, that's that. So
Well, you know what, David? I can't tell you how much, first of all, I appreciate you calling in and being so honest and open and telling us part of your story. And, I think one of the powerful, messages that you've shared with us a little bit is how, I've said it myself, even with my journey, is when you start taking the shit, man, it works great, makes you feel great
right,
until it doesn't. Then it turns on you, and you've got to take it just to fucking try to even feel normal. And that's no way to live. That's just existing. And I'm just so happy for you, man. And I don't want to sound condescending, Dave, but I'm going to say it anyway. Proud of you too, because, bro, as you and I both know, that is huge to take that
Yeah.
step and put yourself out there and break that fucking stigma. Fuck the stigma, man. You got to survive, and stay alive because, as you mentioned, man, all that shit is laced with fentanyl now. And anytime you use, man, it's a roll of the dice. You just never know, and you and I both know people who are dead now because they got a hold of some bullshit pills and fucking died. So I'm just so happy for you, man, that you're going to take this big step, Dave. And I really hope you stay in touch with us and keep us posted on your journey and maybe call back again. As the date approaches for you to go into the treatment center and all, and certainly once you get back out, bro.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. I definitely, like you said, I'm more so an open book. I'm not ashamed of who I am. I'm ashamed of the act that I've done, right? So I find it to be two different things, like if I didn't go through the trials and tribulations I've had in my life, I am today. So
Well, you know what,
so
though, David? I don't mean to interrupt you, bro, but I got to interject, because I want to also say, something I was taught, bro, and I don't have all the answers, I just appreciate having a conversation. But I was at a place once where, I was told, Glenn, give yourself a break. Turn off the ass kicking machine because sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. You have nothing to be ashamed of, David. This is truly a sickness and it affects all kinds of people. It knows no boundaries, and as you've shared, and certainly was the case with me as well, we started using at a young age, man, where we're so easily influenced by our peers and people around us, and I believe there is a certain truth to the old statement, we are a product of our environment, and I got to acknowledge our boy Tyler, who I'm hoping calls in a little bit. He just posted in the chat room, an addict who does not want to stop using will not stop. They could be analyzed, canceled, reasoned with, prayed over, threatened, beaten, they're locked up, but they will not stop until they want to. Thank you for that, Tyler. And David, it does
that is
seem to
better.
me like you really want to. I think you're there, bro, and I'm proud of you, man.
I really appreciate it. And you couldn't have said it better, man. Like no one's going to stop until they decide they want to stop. And unfortunately, as much as we love the people that we want to help, it ultimately falls on them if they're going to want to, get the help, because they have to understand, as well as I have to understand, and you've already lived through it, this shit isn't comfortable,
Oh,
like just from I mean, shit, let's go back to when I met you, you know what I mean? We both
right.
were going through some
Oh
detox,
yeah, I was definitely dope sick when I first met you. That's for sure.
right,
Kicked in the
you didn't even
rooms,
want
as
to
they
come
say.
sometimes, but the thing is the seed of recovery was very well planted in us before we even
Mm,
met,
yeah.
and then once we got really involved in the 90 and 90, and finding that group of people that will do anything for you because
Yeah.
understand you, what your situation is, versus Joe Blow down the street who has maybe smoked a cigarette twice in his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
It's just I have realized that, and again, I don't know when the switch flipped in my head. I couldn't tell you that, but it has been recent, and I had to unfortunately block a handful of numbers, but they say you have to be selfish when you're trying to get better in recovery, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
so with that selfish, I also want to be giving as well. So like I did a podcast 2 days ago that'll be up next week on a different one. As soon as you told me that you
Yeah,
thought what my plans were, could be inspiring to someone, absolutely,
absolutely.
I'm gonna call. Like,
Well,
if
you know
I can
what,
help.
David? And again, I don't mean to interrupt you, bro. I know we got some other callers, so I just wanted to kind of interject and say, you know what you just said. When you're done, bro. And I'm just so happy. I'm excited for you, man, that, you're taking this big step. And, there's an old saying we have around the program, as you know, David, we don't leave our wounded behind. And I'm
Right.
always here for you, bro. No judgment here. I love you to death. Can't thank you enough for being so open and honest about your journey, because you always have, man. There's people who, we come across, and again, I ain't judging, but they're fucking using, and they don't want to say nothing, and they just lie, like, oh no, I ain't fucking using, I ain't, You've never been like that ever since I've met you. You've always been very honest and open about where you're at, just like you have with us tonight. And I respect that and love that about you, bro. And so I can't thank you enough for calling in and being on the show with us. And like I said, David, I really hope you'll call us back before you go in, and then stay in touch with us after, man. And, I just want to say, you are inspiring others, including me, bro, because it's just a daily reprieve for all of us that live this life and walk this path of being clean and sober. So anyway, thank you again, David. I appreciate you calling in, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you. Thank you for having me, man. I definitely will keep you guys updated, and I'll definitely call back in before I go. And then obviously the whole journey while I'm getting better, I'll call in and hopefully be a little inspiration for the other young folks and older folks out there as well who may
You
be
bet.
struggling or whether if they want to go to rehab or not.
Thank you so much, David. All right, bro. Thanks again for calling
Yeah,
in, and we
be
will talk
strong,
soon.
David.
Yes, sir.
Of course. Yeah, love you guys. Love you guys. Thank you for what you're doing. You guys are doing God's work. I appreciate
Oh,
it.
bro. Thank you so much, man. All right, David. Have a great rest of the evening, bro. We'll talk soon. Peace.
I'll talk to you. See ya.
All right. Bye. Wow, how about that, dude? That was a powerful call, man. Hey, let's flash that phone number on the screen again, and we want to welcome anybody else who might like to call in to give us a ring. We are live right now on episode 30 of the Dare Me podcast. There's the number to call if you like. If you're just listening and not watching, that telephone number is 407-924. 3946. So, again, big props to David. And thank you so
Uh-oh,
much
here
for
it
calling
goes.
in, David. So, yeah, man, here's those comments that we got on the video earlier.
Hang
And,
on, we got somebody live. If
oh, we
you're,
got another caller
we got
already.
another caller.
Okay, who's on the
Hello.
line?
It's Tyler, Bubba.
Tyler, what's happening? This is Tyler Ullum. Tyler, thank you so much for calling in, man. I am so happy that you called in. We got Tyler Ullum on the line, y'all. And Tyler, I am going to jump ahead right now to something that I wanted to talk about. I'm so grateful that you called in. Uh, and I just got to put this out there. Uh, Tyler, there's a photo of you right there. All right, bro. You don't mind me putting that up, do you?
Oh, I don't. Not at all.
Tyler is with a very, very talented rapper, musician, comedian, artist, y'all, and is also half of the duo Moving Forward Music. And Tyler, if you don't mind me saying, man, I'm sure you don't, you're one of the first people that I met when I moved to Sacramento. And, as you probably picked up on earlier in the show, it'll be exactly 1 year to the day, Tuesday, that I arrived here in Sacramento. and we just have this connection, man. I was listening to your music when I first met you, and I'm
Yeah.
listening to this tune that you guys did called Back to Basics,
Back to the
which I
basics.
oh man, I mean, I just love all your stuff better than I used to be. Wouldn't understand, hope, all that stuff. You know what I mean? I gotta be
Yeah.
honest, bro. One of my favorite jams that y'all do is that one you did with Mr. G Double Time. That one is like fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But in any case, bro, Back to Basics, you have a line in that tune. There's one of the lyrics where you talk about March 11th, which is our
Yes, sir.
fucking clean date. And I'm like, I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, whoa, I got to rewind. Did he just say what I think he said? And I rewinded it. And turns out we both have the same. You have a year clean longer than me, I guess, but we have the same clean date. Isn't that bizarre, bro?
That it is bizarre. Hey, Glenn, my daughter is just chomping at the bit to say hello.
Oh, please have her say hi to us.
Okay. Go listen on the TV. You'll hear you say hi.
Hey, sweetheart.
She's excited.
What's her name again, Tyler? I forget.
Peyton.
Peyton, that's right. I've met Peyton a couple times. Little cutie. Yeah.
she's excited because she just heard her voice on the TV.
Hi, Peyton. We're glad to have you on the Dare Me podcast. How old is your daughter, Tyler?
She's 4.
Just 4 years old and such a cutie.
She's 4. Yeah,
well,
she's
Tyler,
juiced right now.
I'm so
What's up,
glad
Bubba?
to have you on the line because, as you know, and folks, if you're following along with us here, Tyler and I have talked about having him and his partner in Moving Forward Music, Josh, on the podcast several times, and it just hasn't happened yet because we're both so busy and doing other things. So I'm so glad that we were at least able to have you call into the show today.
Oh, absolutely, bro. I don't got shit going on right now.
Well,
I'm at home right now with COVID, Doug.
Yeah. Oh, you got COVID? You're kidding me.
Yeah,
No
I'm off quarantine tomorrow.
Wow, bro. I had what they call it, the Omicron variant I got last summer.
Fuck.
And I haven't had it since, thank God. But yeah, man, it really does kind of wipe you out, doesn't it? But yeah, man, that COVID is still a fucking thing,
I believe, in my heart that I went, like, I'm not vaccinated or none of that shit, and nothing against anybody who is, but I
get it.
I went like this whole time without fucking getting sick, and then my lady came home, and she works in recovery as well, and she came home and she was fine, dude. And the next morning she woke up and her voice was like this and shit, and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you?" And then it just so it's been bad over here, man, as far as that shit goes.
Wow. Well, hey, bro, I hope you're feeling better soon. It took about a week.
It's about what it's been right now, and I'm just barely starting to feel all right today.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're coming out the other side of it, man. And boy, oh boy, Tyler, I really want to have you and Josh on the show so we can do a deep dive into your whole story, because I know both of y'all's stories are just fascinating. And I really was hoping to have you call in today, though, specifically about this video and song that you just released a couple of days ago. And by the way, y'all, for everybody else watching and listening, Tyler, I just want to put it out there that, Tyler has been doing music for a long time, y'all. Okay. The dude is just so fucking talented and creative. Blows my mind. And this song that you just released, it's so
1.3%.
1.3%, and it's so deep and so raw, y'all. And I'll just put it out there. We're gonna play a clip from it in a second here. It's all about your mother, and
it absolutely is,
that she faces in her life. So if you wouldn't mind, Tyler, tell us just a little bit about this song and this video, and there's a picture of the cover for the song, and the name of it again, as you said, is 1.3%. Tell us a little bit about how this all came together, Tyler.
So you got to understand, like I'm from a, this is just like a quick understanding of where I'm at with that. Like, so my mom, Sherry, I'm from a blended family, you know what I mean?
Yep.
She's my stepmom, you know what I mean? My mother wasn't in my life at that, during the time when I was growing up, and Sherry came into my life. But when Sherry first came into my life, she was a driven, outgoing, she was in, she's just, her and my dad are both in recovery. They did everything under the sun together. They bowled together. My dad was a semi-amateur pro bowler, so they did a lot of tournaments all through up and down California. They went to conventions. My mom helped a lot of people in recovery. Like she's just helped a lot of women, and over the years with my dad's diabetes and like just us going to jail, like me and my sister caused a lot of trouble, and I just come from that type of background, and I slowly watched my mom just, she has her issues, right? She has her own issues, and she just slowly, I've watched her just become crippled over the years, man. Like, and to the point where I hate everything about agoraphobia, brother. I'm sorry to get emotional, but it's just,
no, not at all.
It's hard to talk about, because if you ain't living it or seen it or watched it happen to somebody, it's kind of an unbelievable thing. Like, what the fuck do you mean you can't get out of the house?
Yeah.
The fuck do you mean you can't fucking go to the store? What the fuck do you mean you can't drive anymore? What the fuck do you mean you can't do all the normal things that normal people do?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you can't do that? Like, where does your mind just shut down like that? You know what I mean? And I don't understand it, and I don't get it. So that's where the song comes from.
Tyler, I appreciate you sharing that with us, bro. And I'll share this, not to compare apples to oranges. One thing I will say though is that even with my own mother, who's gone now, may she rest in peace, she went through some serious health challenges late in her life with COPD. She couldn't breathe, get around, or anything like that. And I remember as a grown ass man experiencing what we call this role reversal. And I must acknowledge, I have siblings who certainly were part of this whole thing too. But you go from, your parent being the caretaker and taking care of you as a younger person, and all of a sudden there's this role reversal where now all of a sudden you're taking care of them. And as easy and simple as it is to say that, and as simple as it sounds, that's pretty fucking deep, man. It's very,
it's super deep, Glenn. It's super deep, bro. Like my dad, look, you were there when I left that fucking party, and I was like, I have to get back to the hospital. My dad's in the hospital, and and like to put it in perspective, my mom came to 3 visits. 3 fucking visits, and this is the man she's been with for 26 years. And dude, the second visit she came to, she told me, "Come here, son." And I said, "What's up?" She said, "This is what your dad likes." She's like, "Rub his head really hard." I get emotional because I knew right then she wasn't gonna be coming. I knew right then.
Yeah,
you're not gonna come in and be involved with this. You know what I mean? So it's a lot, bro.
Yeah, it is a lot. And by the way, for our viewers and listeners, Tyler also did a video and a song called Hope, y'all, that I just can't encourage you enough to go check out. That was all about, his dad. And again, may he rest in peace, Tyler. And man, I got to tell you, bro, so much respect with that whole journey that you went through, with that, man.
Yeah.
That was intense. Well, Tyler, we do want to play a clip from this song, and Dean, I know
brother.
we got other. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tyler. What were you going to say, bro?
Oh, I wasn't going to say nothing. I said, all right, man, go ahead, play it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I hear the phone ringing in the background. We got people wanting to call in, I think. But Dean, the video, because we kind of changed order of things, because we got Tyler on the line. I want to play the video of, this song that, and I think it was video number 4.
She's up before the birds are, it's 2 a.m. Her mind's off and running, thinking's not a friend. She tries to cope with a cup of coffee and menthol. She's got the sliding glass door cracked to the backyard. She's standing at the kitchen counter playing solitaire, confined by herself alone inside her head. She's rocking back and forth on her toes and heels. She hates how she feels, so she pops pills. Mixed with caffeine and nicotine, it's all she needs. She takes a drag, I hear her cough, she can barely breathe. She looks normal, but she's crippled, so you can't notice. She's lost inside her mind, and her brain is broken. What's the cause? What's the reason? What's the diagnosis? She's suffocated with worry, she's an agoraphobic. She's one of the strongest women I've ever met. Take a walk in her shoes, come on, let's take a trip.
Woo, bro. Man, that song is so fucking deep. I'm trying not to get filled up, Tyler, because I just thought we'd show a short clip, you know.
Oh, yeah, you're fine, man.
Yeah.
You're good. I appreciate it.
Oh, no. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, Tyler. We've had lots of artists on and played different music on the show, and we kind of don't want to get dinged for, like, copyright, and then we fall down in the algorithm. So
so check it out. I own that beat. I own it.
Yeah.
The rights are completely mine. I mean, I'm not saying to play it more, but I own that shit. So
yeah. Oh, I get it. Well, here's what happens though. Dean and I did a deep dive conversation into this whole copyright thing one time, and I'm trying to remember, Dean, who we were talking to, who was getting dinged for copyright on their own fucking music out there on Facebook because they're so strict about it sometimes. So, but what we definitely want to do is encourage people to, go to your YouTube channel, your Facebook page, your Insta, subscribe,
Absolutely.
share, like, do all the things.
Thank you.
Blow this shit up, man, because this fucking tune is just so powerful and intense. And man, I just got to tell you, Tyler, I'm just so in awe of y'all's and you specifically, you know, your talent, your skills, your creativity, man, and to do a song like this that is so deep and so raw, bro. It's powerful, man, and just a powerful message. So thank you for being so vulnerable, bro, and putting it out there like that.
Oh man, you know what I mean? It's important, bro. Like I do, you know, I mean, Glenn, over the years I've done a lot of, you know, like rap and just the rap type shit. But I mean, the music's got to mean something. Like it can't all be just about fucking I'm the best rapper on the planet. I mean, it can't be about that all the time.
No,
sometimes you got to hit people with that real shit.
Yeah. Well, and hey, Dean, thank you for bringing up. He just brought up your YouTube channel there, Tyler. So, folks, yeah, by all means, please go to Tyler's YouTube channel and follow him on social media because, in addition to being a talented rapper and musician, man, you're also a comedian, Tyler. And some of the stuff you post is fucking hilarious, bro. You'll have me literally, laughing out loud to myself sometimes, bro. I love the comic stuff you do, you know.
My daughter wants me to let you know her favorite music video is the one about mom. She just wanted me to tell you that.
Yeah, well, thank you for letting us know, Peyton.
He said thank you, Peyton.
Yeah, we just love it. We love it. Well, Tyler, like we've talked about, I really would love to have you and Josh come into the studio. You've been here
absolutely,
before
man.
you and I, we did that conference call with that boy Caskey that time, and we keep, talking about getting Caskey on the show, but he definitely said he was going to do the show with us, so maybe we can get.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
You and Josh live.
That'll all be good shit, man. Whenever you're episode 31, you're just there, bro. I'll try to make it happen, Captain.
You got it, bro. Okay, well, Tyler, thank you so much for calling in today, man. And I just want to say thank you again for putting this song out there. I think it's absolutely going to be inspiring and helpful to so many people, more than I think you even realize, bro. And it's just so inspirational and powerful for me too, so thank you again, bro, for putting that out there and for calling us and calling in the show.
Glenn, thank you for letting me use your platform, man, and thank you for just loving me, man. From the day we met, man, it was a weird way we met. You know it was, bro. That dude was not happy, and I was like, fuck, man, this is my meeting.
Well, you know what? Let's just talk about
not to put that on blast, but.
Let's talk about that real quick for just a second, if you don't mind, before we let you go.
I don't, man.
Yeah, part of our journey in recovery, y'all, is we got to give it away to keep it, as we say, and share this message of recovery. And so I was invited to go out and tell a little bit of my story at this men's treatment center, and I did. And it turns out there was just, I don't know, some miscommunication, and we were double booked or whatever. And that's when I met
Absolutely.
Tyler. And it all worked out great, and we met there. Just that's why I say, bro, it's like it seems almost like by chance. It was the weirdest of circumstances, but we just connected it and hit it off. And that's when I realized you were an artist, and I listened to that tune, Back to Basics, and I'm like, holy fuck, we have the same clean date, man. And it's like, I'm like, oh my God. It just seemed like we were meant to meet, bro,
and you were showing up and supporting ever since then, man. So I mean, I fucking deeply appreciate you, Glenn.
I go back out to that center, and we'll just put it out there, man. Progress House, they're like awesome, and they got a couple locations. But I go out there and chair a meeting out there the third Thursday of every month, and I wouldn't even be doing that if it wasn't for you, bro. And as you know, Tyler, we go out there and try to help all the guys out there, but as you know, helps me more than it probably helps anybody I've shared my story with. It helps keep me clean, so I'm grateful to you.
Oh man, I loved hearing your story, Glenn. Your story I was like this, and your energy, bro. Like the energy you bring. You know what I mean? Man. You are a guy that likes to talk. That's self-admitted. You know what I mean? But you spoke a clear, concise message of recovery, and it's important.
Well,
that I can relate with. You know what I mean? Because I know what it's like to be in that, like, I just can't stop fucking mentality.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Tyler. Well, okay, man. Well, hey, thank you again. Again, to all our viewers and listeners, go blow this tune up, y'all. Check it out. But I will tell you, grab a tissue before you watch the full video for the first time, because I certainly got filled up a few times watching, man. It's that powerful. And Tyler, I'm just so grateful for you to call in today, man. I appreciate you, bro. We'll talk again soon.
I appreciate you. Yes, sir. Love you, Glenn, man. All
right, love you too. Peace. Bye. Wow, y'all, how fucking cool was that? Tyler Ullum on the program, and man, I'm telling y'all, he's such a cool dude, y'all. And what I was saying, I'm really, really wanting to get him and the other half of Moving Forward Music, that boy Josh Bitter, to come in live here in the studio, and we'll have him on as featured guest and do a deep dive into their whole music catalog, y'all. So, anyway, that was awesome, man, having that on there. And, I'm going to put this back up on the screen here.
Okay.
Where's the slides, Dean? I'm a little bit confused
Wrong one.
here. Okay, there we go. Whoops.
Yep.
Just lots. What's happening here? There we go. Okay, so this is is something that I was so caught up in conversation with Tyler, I kind of forgot about some of these slides I had loaded. This is something he posted. It's a song about mental health awareness, agoraphobia. To be exact, my mother suffers from this condition, and I wrote this song for her with her approval, of course. And it says, please reach out and seek help if you need. God bless. So, and then here's something else that Tyler had posted on Facebook that I thought I'd share. As he put, if you like it, please do smash that thumbs up, share it, do all the things, y'all. And then we'll talk about that one in a little bit. So, yeah, if
you want to take a call?
Yeah, absolutely. The phone lines are burning up today. There's that number on the screen, by the way, y'all. If you'd like to call in, we'd be happy to take a call. Who we got on the line right now?
Hey, Glenn, it's Otter.
Otter! Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much for calling in, bro. One of my friends here from Sacramento. How's it going tonight, Otter?
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Glenn. I heard couple people trying to call in while Tyler was on the phone with you, and I'm like, shit, man, I better get my phone call in before he has to close up the show, man.
Oh, hey, we'll go as long as we need to, bro. I'll be honest, Otter. I was kind of hoping to wrap up a little early tonight because I was going to try to make this get the let out show
Yeah.
downtown, but I don't know if I'm going to make it because, we're having a good show and them guys tour around all the time. I can see them anytime. But thank you so much for calling in tonight, man. What a powerful conversation that was with Tyler, eh?
Oh, and with David too, man.
Yeah, David
This
too,
has
of
been a
course.
great show so far tonight.
Oh, thank you for
David,
saying so.
whoever you are, I love you, and I truly, truly hope you are lucky enough to stay alive until January so you can get to that treatment, man. I'm
Say
praying for
that.
you, brother.
Wow. Well, hey, y'all, I just got to say, Otter is, and I know you don't mind me saying this, Otter is a
Oh
friend
yeah.
and member of the best home group in Sacramento, our Leave the Drama at the Door group. I post shit on social media all the time, bro, when I check in there, and we
Oh
meet
yeah, I
at
see you.
yeah, I see you too, bro. But we meet. We're night people, y'all. We truly are. I mean, my sleeping pattern it literally goes around the clock. I'm so screwed up, but I'm definitely a night person by nature, and I just love that group because we meet at 10 o'clock every Thursday night and midnight every Friday night at the American River Alano Club in Orangevale, California. So for anybody who may be in SAC visiting or any of our SAC friends around town, come on out and visit the best home group in Sacramento. Wouldn't you say, Otter?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I don't got no socials to give out to you, but anybody who wants to contact me, just show up to that meeting and ask for a phone list.
Yeah, well, you know what I love about that meeting, Otter, is we keep it real there. I get it for some of the bigger meetings. You got to have a real kind of structured and rigid format. And, we're about as far from that as you can get at that meeting. We just keep it loose, wouldn't you say?
It is. Someone has described it as carrying the message in a unique way, and I think that that's a really polite way to put it.
Yeah. And you know what? One of the things I love about that meeting is that we don't put time restraints on people sharing. And we usually have anywhere from a half dozen to a dozen people. Ordinarily, we don't really get more than 10 to a dozen people. Once in a while, maybe there's some people in town for an event or whatever. So, but
Yeah.
it's an open ended meeting. We don't, there's a lot of meetings you go to, and at 1 hour, that's it. The meeting's over. Get the hell out of here. We go till, everybody gets a chance to share or till you run out of gas. And certainly, you don't have to stay the whole fucking time. If you want to get up and go, you go. But
Right.
I am
Yeah.
just I got to tell you, Otter, as you are aware, I will celebrate 1 full year of living here in California in Sacramento on Tuesday. That's kind of the title of this show was the California-versary edition of the Dare Me podcast. And I've met a lot of great new friends since moving here. And bro, you are definitely right at the top of that list, man. I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
so grateful for your friendship and the camaraderie that we have at that home group. So thank you for being such a great friend to me and helping me to stay alive and stay clean, bro.
Hey man, likewise, equally.
Yeah.
I'm a California native here, so I
Hmm.
ain't never been to no Michigan or Florida. But I
Well,
mean, I can definitely tell you California is better anyway, and it is a lot better now that we have you here in it.
oh God, that makes me feel so good. Well, you know what? We always used to say the East Coast is the beast coast, and you always say the West Coast is the best coast. And
Best
you know
coast,
what?
yeah.
What I said earlier in the show is true, Otter. I heard it said that, Sacramento, it kind of grows on you. And then once it does, you're hooked for life. And that has certainly happened with me. I just love it here. And you know what? It's all because of friends like you and Tyler and others, that have just made me feel, man, I'm trying not to get emotional. Y'all have made me feel so welcome and so at home, because sometimes, people go somewhere and it's like, oh God, this ain't for me, and I just love it here. And I have friends like yourself who I know now. I could call you at, any hour of the day or night. And if I said,
Oh yeah.
Otter, I'm in a bad way, bro. I need some help, man. You'd be like, where you at, bro? I'll be there in 10
Uh
minutes,
huh.
And,
You're
I
our
feel
people now.
yeah, man, it's just so fucking cool. So I don't want to flower it up too much, y'all, but God, man, it's just so cool having friends like that. And that's the kind of bonds, as you know, Otter, that we make in the fellowship. In the program, when we take this path and follow this journey of living clean and sober, because at the end of the day, bro, and you boil it down to the least common denominator, it's about saving each other's fucking life, man. And that's what we do on a daily basis. So, yeah, that bond is powerful, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, and it's not like anything you can get anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, hey, bro, I won't hold you hostage. I can't thank you enough for calling in, Otter. That is so cool of you to do that,
Oh
man. And I
yeah,
appreciate.
definitely.
Oh, thank you for all the positive comments, bro. And I will see you on our or at our home group on Thursday, if not sooner, bro. So thanks again for calling in, man. Have a great rest of the evening, bro. Peace.
My pleasure, Glenn. Have a good night. Bye bye.
Thanks, Otter. Wow. How cool is that, y'all? Man, just makes me feel so good. Everything we just talked about, it's just so cool, man. Thank you, Otter, for calling in. Tyler, can't thank you enough for calling in. That boy David. So yeah, man, let's get back to some of the slides. So we were talking about, Tyler posting that song, and please, y'all, if you would go to his Facebook page, go to his YouTube, like, share, subscribe, do all the things. And so, just wanted to go back to I'm kind of cycling through some of the earlier stuff. Okay, so I'm celebrating my anniversary of living in California, but there's another anniversary that was celebrated this last week too, y'all, and that is the 70th. And we're talking all about the program and NA and all that other stuff. The 70th anniversary of the first NA group meeting, y'all. And so, Dean, I want to play this video because I lifted this from social media. Somebody posted this past week. So it's just about a minute long, y'all. Let's play this and then we'll talk about it. You got that one ready, Dean?
Which video again?
It's the it'll be the
NA birthday?
second video, number 2. Yep. Yay! So there you go, y'all. I'm going to show a couple of slides now, but it was, in fact, the anniversary of the very first NA group meeting. And somebody posted that video this past week, so I lifted it to show. And then here is a photograph of the building in Sun Valley, California, where the first NA group meeting was held October 5th, 1953, just 3 days ago, y'all. And here's another picture of the building. It's at the corner of, and I think I'm saying this right, Cantera and Clybourne. Used to be called Dad's Hall. Here is a picture of the building as it looks today. And a couple of people were commenting that I don't know if you can see in the lower left corner of that picture, there's a telephone booth, and apparently it's still there.
Oh, really?
And
Wow.
so, yeah, and they still hold a meeting there every Saturday, y'all, at 7 o'clock, and it's called Where It All Began. And I am planning on going to that meeting. I shared on this program once before how I've been to a place in Akron, Ohio that is known as Dr. Bob's house. Dr. Bob was one of the founders of the program Alcoholics Anonymous. And of course, AA is where the 12 steps came into being and all. And then that was in 1935. NA adapted those 12 steps to Narcotics Anonymous in 1953. And that boy, Jimmy Kinnon, Jimmy K, is generally known as the guy that started NA and adapted the 12 steps. And that is there's some history out there that there were some private meetings that took place in people's homes and things, because they really had to fly under the radar back in them days from the feds, and the cops. Drug addicts meeting together back in them days was not as out in the open as we are about it now. But that was the first official NA group. And here's something I lifted off the internet, because there's also been some debate back and forth over the years. I've heard, just fun, lively debate about where did NA really start? Did it start in California? Did it start in New York? And as this says, it was officially established in Sun Valley in July 53. But in New York, there was a recovering alcoholic. His name was Danny Carlson. He formed another organization called Narcotics Anonymous, but it kind of died out in the mid 60s. And it was never related to the Sun Valley, as it's described, NA of Jimmy Kinnon. So, in any case, y'all, I'm going to go down there and attend that meeting while I'm in the area at this event. It's called the SoCal Clean 2023 Convention. The Southern California Regional Convention of NA is coming up in October, this month, October 27th through the 29th in Anaheim. And the theme this year is Find Your True Self. There's the logo there. We promoted this convention on the podcast once before, a few weeks back. And anyhow, that one's coming up. And while I'm down there, I'm going to go attend that meeting and attend the very first NA group. And then I'll be able to say I've been to Dr. Bob's house and the very first NA group. We got another caller on the line?
Yes, we do. This person's been trying to call us for the last half an hour, and you're
okay.
on the air.
Yeah, the line was busy. Who we got on the line right now?
No, did they not answer? Oh, man.
I'm not hearing them. We got somebody.
Must have dropped them. I didn't have them right away. Or
if we lost your caller, please call back. Please call.
Hang on. Let me get them on the.
All right. Well, hey, if you do want to call in, you're sure welcome. The telephone number to call.
I'm gonna try calling them back.
Okay, we're calling. Calling them back live on the air.
That's it. You're live.
Who we got on the line?
This got Dale, your buddy Dale from Michigan.
Dalian, we call my boy Dale. Dalian's your nickname. Dale, thank you so much for calling in, bro. Man, we got people calling in from all over. Back in Detroit City, my boy Dale on the line. Thank you, Dale. How's it going, bro?
It's going really good. Had a real good day today. Went to event for human trafficking today.
Wow.
And that got to drive in a race car around the racetrack and everything, You know me, how I like those adrenaline things. You took me on a few of those.
Yeah, well, Dale, I can't thank you enough for calling in today, man. Boy, you talked about human trafficking. You know what? I'd love to hear about this event you went to because I watched a movie. Dean, I was telling you that this
Yeah.
morning. I watched a movie that has been out for a while now, but it was somewhat controversial. It's called The Sound of Freedom. Holy shit, y'all. If you haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend you checking it out. If you don't get filled up watching that movie, you're a stronger person than I because it's all about human sex trafficking and specifically with children. Holy shit,
No,
man. I mean, it was really deep. So, what was this event you went to, Dale?
I don't know if you know, but a few of the girls that are in the program have been through the human trafficking
Oh,
thing,
absolutely.
you know?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I'm good friends with them, no intentions of sex or anything, it's just friends, you know? So
Sure.
I'm one of the girls now, you know, so is what I say. But yeah, so I was invited to this thing. It was like $150 a plate, but it was worth it because it's helping the Sanctum House is what it's called, where the girls live, and
Yep.
they're adding on, you know, so they needed money for that, and then another 150 to ride in the race car. You know, we had to put a helmet on and everything. And it was really good seeing all the love there, you know, all the leaders of the group and that, you know. I met everybody. And I'm going to start volunteering there, you know. So
Wow, that's fantastic, Dale. Yeah, man, that is so powerful. And you know what, bro? You mentioned the 150, and it's like I went to this event a few weeks ago. We did a whole show on this group called the Jamie Daniels Foundation and went to this benefit down at the Motor City Casino. And if you're not familiar, I highly encourage you to go back and watch that episode of the show. It was called Back from the D. And the Jamie Daniels Foundation is all about helping people with substance abuse disorder. But the point I'm making is I paid a few $100 for that ticket. It was well worth it, man. And Dale, I'm sure you can relate to this. Sometimes we get clean and we become tightwads and we forget that when we were out trying to get some dope, especially if we were dope sick, we'd drop a couple of few grand in a fucking heartbeat and not even think twice about it and be glad to do it. And all of a sudden we get clean, we can't even fucking spend $100 for a great cause like something like that, or motherfuckers at a meeting won't even throw a goddamn dollar in the fucking basket, bro. Fucking throw a couple bucks in there, So I'm sorry, I'll get down off my soapbox, but you know what I mean, right?
yeah, and it's great seeing these girls growing through all this program and seeing them at the NA meetings and all that, you know.
Oh,
And
yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, Dale, because, I share on here a lot. There's an old saying around the program that, we are the greatest show on earth. And that sometimes, going to an NA or an AA or fucking A meeting, pick one, it don't matter. It's the best entertainment in town you'll get for $1 or $2. And I don't mean that in any disrespectful way. What I mean by that is you will go to meetings and you will hear stories that'll fucking blow your mind. I mean, mind. And some of those stories that I've heard from some of the girls you're talking about being literally fucking kidnapped, enslaved into sex trafficking, and then they survive it and live to tell. God, like you said, man, I sometimes I feel like one of the girls too, because I just love those girls. I love program girls because they're so fucking strong and survivors, man. And like me and Otter were just talking about, there's some girls in the program I know I'd fucking do anything for them just because I have so much respect for their survival and the shit that they've been through, So you know what I'm talking about, man.
Oh, yeah. They've been through hell and back, that's for sure. And they were saved for some reason, like all of us were,
Yeah,
I could have been a long time ago, but for some reason I was saved.
Yeah. Well, and not to make gender differences, but I've said it before on the show. I'll say it again. Yeah, you're right. We all go through hell. I think it's tougher for the girls sometimes, that whole stigma, that double standard and the shame and things to that nature. And I am so grateful for my female friends in the program. For God's sakes, I have a female sponsor, which I know a lot of times they say, oh, men with the men, women with the women. I don't 100% agree with that, especially when you get older. It's like, me and my sponsor, man, we have a bond that's unbreakable, and we kind of bring a different perspective to the table for each of us. Like you said, bro, it has nothing to do with any kind of a sexual relationship. I mean, I don't know. For me, maybe it's a little different. I was raised by 4 sisters and my mom, and been married a couple times. So I have this unique relationship when it comes to females. But, I'm just saying, man, I have so much respect for the women in the program. I just can't even begin to say. So I'm really proud of you. I don't mean to sound condescending, Dale, but I'm really happy you went out to support that group, man.
Oh, it was great. Yeah. If you want to feel good, get into something like that, and volunteer your time or whatever, or your money or whatever.
Yeah. Well, Dale, since I got you on the line, bro, that's so true what you just said, man. It's all about giving back, and trying to, do something positive in the community and all that helps us stay clean. And, without getting into a big, long story about it, would you mind just sharing a little bit with us about your journey and where you're at and all, and maybe even a little bit about our friendship? We had some fun last summer when I was up in Detroit, man. We caught a couple of concerts. We went to see Uncle Ted and the Red Hot Chili Peppers and all. And I just can't thank you enough for helping me to stay clean, bro. So how's things been going in your journey with all that?
I'm doing really good. I got a year clean in September.
Oh, man.
And what a good feeling, to do that. And I looked up to the older guys. I'm getting up there too, but the guys that got more clean time than me and how they did it. And they said, if you do the right thing and stay away from these fucking drugs, man, you're going to have miracles. And it's like just about a clean. I had bullshit going on still, but it wasn't as magnified, as it was with the drugs,
Yeah.
And I had miracles happening, one thing after another, man. It's still happening, and I'm really on a pink cloud or whatever you call it, but I'm feeling good about it, And I got positive people in my life that they would do anything. They would bend over backward for anything that you need,
Yeah.
And I went through a divorce and cancer. My wife had cancer and died, and 3 kids from that I raised, and I found out the Vicodin that they were giving me for migraine headaches covered up all those feelings of the divorce and dying and all that, and little did I know I'd inject heroin 30 years later,
Yeah.
But
I get it. Yep.
It happened, and that's what I've been covering up all my life, and I'm sure I've heard, like you said, some stories that will blow your mind, Thank God I was only in jail once, and I've heard guys in prison and just going through the system, and it's not worth it, man. I think, man, if I would have not been on all those drugs, what kind of a better life I would have,
I've thought that too, but we got to give ourselves a break, Dale. Like you say, man, we think about that, but that's that whole woulda, coulda, shoulda thing, and I never thought I would get to this point, but it's like I had somebody talk, I was bullshitting at the meeting after the meeting out for coffee saying, you know what, had we not gone through and been through the shit we did survive, we wouldn't be at the place of peace we are right now, man. Shit that we've gone through, bro, that builds character. So we can't regret it, is what it is.
Yeah. so proud of David stepping up, and realizing, admit that you got a problem, man. If you got a problem, you know it in your heart, and it's tearing you up.
Yeah.
Give it up to somebody, and they'll help you, man.
Yeah. Well, for our viewers and listeners who may have jumped on a little later in the show, Dale's referring to our first caller tonight. David called in to tell us that, he's still using, but he's working on trying to taper off and wean down, and has made a decision to enter into treatment on the first of the year, and has a reservation to go in. And I was, when we were talking with him, saying I really like his plan, because for a lot of us, Dale, as you know, we go into treatment, and it's almost like this knee-jerk act of desperation where we're so fucked up or on the verge of an OD that, we go into treatment, spur of the moment, where Dave is really methodically planning this out, and has been actively using, as he shared openly with us, since he was 14 years old. And I think he's like 26 now. So good for him, man. Like you said, yeah, I'm proud of him too.
I see him going really far, and anybody can do it. Anybody can go far, but the drugs just up everything in your mind, that you can't think right and all that, but you got people like you and other friends of ours that will love you till you can love yourself, and that's what they did to me. They took me under their wing and took me to meetings and picked me up. Had no license, no mirror, no registration, and it was great. I love this program.
Yeah, it truly is, a place where you'll make friendships that you'll have for life. And when I say a place, I mean, any recovery group, whatever it may be, NAAA, Recover Out Loud, Dharma, fucking A, you pick it, and I always like to put that disclaimer out there, Dale. I say, hey, man, we're not representatives of the program, we respect the traditions and all, but goddamn it, that don't mean we can't talk about it, because that shit helped save my fucking life, not once, not twice, 3 times. So of course we want to talk about it and encourage people who may be struggling with substance abuse or addiction, whatever the hell you want to call it, to, get out there and form some of these bonds and friendships that you make, that we've been talking about. Because just like I said, even with that boy Otter, when we were talking to him a few minutes ago, one of my new best friends here in Sacramento, I know it's the same with you, Dale, that I could call you at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you'd probably answer the phone and go, God damn, Glenn, what the hell, man? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. And if I said, Dale, I'm in a bad way, bro, I need to fucking meet up or somebody to talk to, you'd be like, all right, bro, where you at? And you know what? That means the world to me. And I'd do the same for you. And those are the kind of bonds that, man, with all respect to anybody who's not, a program person, there's just no way you could possibly understand that bond. It can't be explained unless you're a real one and know firsthand what we're talking about. Wouldn't you agree with that, Dale?
Oh yeah, my friends I was using with I could not trust any of them, and they were from me and trying to steal I owned a building, and they were trying to steal the building from me, and they took my ban on that, but I got all that back. Everything's good now, but I had to make a decision. I had to get off this shit, and I did it.
You know what, Dale, and I don't mean to interrupt you, bro, but you alluded to something that David talked a little bit about on the phone with us earlier, and I meant to mention it, and we got a little sidetracked, is that, you mentioned some of the people that we used with, and then when we get clean, sometimes you find out who your real friends were, and sometimes you have to set some healthy boundaries and put people at an arm's length. There's friends of mine that are damn good people who I love and care about, but they're still using. and I just can't
Yeah.
be associated with that on a daily basis anymore. I got to love them from a distance. But then there's others, like you said, who they ain't fucking no friends of mine, man. It's like now that I ain't using no more, I never hear from them anymore. If it ain't about fucking get more dope or whatever, they don't want nothing to do with you. God bless them. I hope they survive and don't fucking die out there. But once we get clean, man, relationships absolutely change with both friends and family. Wouldn't you agree?
I do agree with that. Yeah, and I actually couldn't see my kids. I found out I had a grandson,
Wow.
and using times, and they wouldn't let me see him until I got clean. So that was one of the reasons I got clean. But I got my kids back that I raised since my wife died. I got my grandkids, and it's great. And life is good. And
Well,
not
you know what,
perfect, but
Dale? I can't thank you enough for sharing that, man. And I can't think of really a better way to bring our conversation full circle is, that's the gifts of recovery, the gifts of living and staying clean, man, is, there's, you know, uh, how's that saying go that, if you play a country song backwards, it's like you get sober, you get all your, you get your truck back, you get your family back. It's kind of like, staying clean and being in recovery, man. Those are the gifts. You get your family back, you get your relationships back. But I think most importantly, you get your peace back. Wouldn't you agree?
yeah, I've got serenity, that surpasses all understanding, and it's great, And I
Yeah.
thought I was getting out of a bottle or out of a syringe, and that's not real peace. That's not what we're set here for to do. And I
That's
love
right.
to help others, like the human trafficking thing. That feels
Yeah.
so good to help others that are suffering.
Yep.
You know.
Well, Dale, big props to you, man, and thank you so much for calling in. And hey, by the way, I want to add this slide up onto the screen here, and invite you to. I know you had talked about coming out to California. Can we bring that back up, Dean? There's a convention going on later this month, and it's called the Southern California Clean 2023 convention down in Anaheim, bro. I know that's coming up soon in just a couple of weeks, but if you want to come out and go, bro, you are more than welcome, man. Would love to see you out here. All right.
If nobody's ever been to a convention, those are a lot of fun, man. If you want
Oh
to have
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
well,
have
you know
fun.
what, Dale? I couldn't agree more, man. And I'm going to talk about that once we get off the line with you a little bit about how there's so much more to being involved in recovery and meetings and things of that nature than just the meetings. We do have a lot of fun, that's for sure.
Oh yeah,
And conventions
no,
is one of them. Yep. But Dale,
yeah.
thank you so much for calling in, bro. I don't want to hold you hostage on the phone, but I can't thank you enough. And I hope you call into the show again sometime. All right.
All right, love it, son. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. All right. Peace.
See ya. Bye.
Thanks. Wow, the phone lines are busy tonight, eh, Dean? How about that, man? Heard from that boy Dale. But hey,
Yes,
what we
sir.
were just I'm sorry, go ahead, Dean. What were you
No,
gonna
go ahead.
say?
Yeah, I just listening to some great stories tonight.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's talk a little bit more about some of the fun stuff I was alluding to, y'all. So this convention's coming up. It's down in Anaheim, and then there's another one, and this is in right in the area of that where it all began meeting. We were talking about the very first NA group we were talking about before Dale called in. This is the San Fernando Valley area convention of NA. They're holding their 28th annual convention. And this one's called Out of the Dark into the Light. Now, that's coming up a little further down the road after the holidays and the first of the year, January 19th through 21st, but gives you plenty of time to plan. And like I was just saying with Dale on the phone, y'all, it's another example of, man, it ain't, once you get clean, you detox, you get all that shit out of your system and you're feeling better and you're feeling like a fucking real human being person again. We have a lot of fun, man. I mean, we do events all the time. There is so much stuff going on. There's dances, there's picnics, there's campouts, there's these conventions, and thousands of people who are living clean and sober get together. We have seminars, breakout groups, workshops, main speaker meetings, marathon meetings, fellowshipping, pool parties. It's just always something to do, where we just help each other stay clean and alive, y'all. And so these conventions are always a great way to fellowship. And then here's the big kahuna, y'all. This is the World Convention of Narcotics Anonymous is coming up, the 38th one, in Washington, D.C. It moves all around, y'all, all over the U.S. and other parts of the world. And the next one will be in 2024. And this will be the first one in a while because of COVID and everything else. It was canceled and all that. And if you've never been to DC, man, oh my God, I say every person should go to Washington, DC at least once, certainly every American, and pay a visit to places like Arlington National Cemetery, things to that nature. Boy, you sure understand the history of this country a lot more when you pay a visit to Washington, D.C. And nonetheless, the World NA Convention will be there August 29th through September 1st, so a little less than a year away. And I get the NA World Services newsletter, y'all, and this came to me. They've been, putting this out there for a little while now, a few months, that they're going to make an official announcement. They're saying hopefully by the end of the year about where the official hotel is going to be and the events and registration and all that. So I just thought I'd put that out there. And also, guess what? Guess who's going? I already booked my fucking hotel. This is probably going to be the main hotel. If it's not, I don't care. It's literally at the Marriott right across the street from the convention center in DC. So I just wanted to, be down in that area because usually, y'all, they get between 7 to 10,000 people at this NA World Convention that come literally from around the world. And all the talk I've heard is that this is going to be one of the biggest ever, because it's been so long since we had one last back in Orlando before COVID. There was a world convention there, and actually, a couple of them have been there over the years. I went to one there back in '89. But anyhow, I digress. So that's coming up. But there's also events just like this, y'all, from the big world convention and conventions all over the country and every city, every state, every place around the world to basic local events. And I thought I'd do a plug for this one. We were talking about the women with Dale on the phone a little bit in the program, and they do different events just for special interest groups is what they're called. They have men's meetings, men conventions, women's meetings, women's conventions, gay meetings, straight meetings, bi meetings, Latino meetings, you name it. And sometimes people have differing opinions about whether there should even be special interest groups, that we're all the same. And I don't know. I've gone back and forth with it over the years, but I've reached a point in my life where, there are issues unique to different special interest groups, whether, it be a gay or bi meeting or a women, for women specifically. I do believe that, women, for example, do deal with issues that are unique just to women when it comes to getting, living, and staying clean, and some of the issues that they may feel more comfortable talking about amongst other women rather than in a mixed group with guys there too. Like what we were talking about with Dale, with the human trafficking, sex trafficking, things to that nature. So, nonetheless, here in the Sacramento area, the Women to Women meeting presents this speaker meeting and spaghetti lunch that is a fundraiser for this event that's going to be going on down in San Diego, called the Circle of Sisters Convention. And I'm going to go to this thing. They got a couple of speakers. This is a guy, Carlos G, who's got 21 years clean, Kate O, 17 years clean. And for just $10, y'all, you get a spaghetti dinner with salad, garlic bread, and a drink. And I just thought we'd show this, even though it's a local event here in Sacramento, and we get viewers and listeners literally from not just around the country, but other parts of the world. By all means, come on down to Sac, y'all, are over to Sac and attend. But the point of me really wanting to show this was just for anybody who may come across our show who's still trying to get clean, feeling out this whole, recovery lifestyle. What is it like? Is this for me and all? I just wanted to give y'all another example of how we have so much fun in the program other than just going to meetings. We have things like this, that, are a fellowship event, and we have dinner together and we hear inspirational speakers and we make great new friends, like all the people we've talked to on the phone line tonight and all. So, anyhow, you get the idea, y'all. But nonetheless, by all means, come out and support this event. I'm sure it's going to be a great one, y'all. So, anyhow, moving along. I wanted to show this. We were hoping that we might hear from this boy tonight. I don't know if he's going to be able to call in or not. We were DMing each other on Instagram, but I follow a lot of different people in the recovery community, in the music community. If you're a regular follower of our podcast, I'm a huge music person. It's been such a big part of my recovery. And I couldn't help but pick up on this Sober House release party with this boy. He goes by the name Mac, and he lives in Arizona. And he put this out there about this event coming up on Saturday, October 21st. That he's going to be playing at. And there he is. He's going to be at the 10th annual Arizona Hip Hop Festival in December as well. But the bro lives clean and sober and promotes that lifestyle in his music and a lot of the stuff he does. He put this out there. He's a part of the Sober Artists of Arizona group, and this has some really good music out there, y'all. And, here's a little bit of information about him. I'm not going to read it all to you, but, this is part of his story about, some of the struggles he's been through, things to that nature. And, he pulled this off of Spotify. He's got a release out called The Lost Poet. And you can see one of his songs on there is Sober. Just really good stuff, y'all. And there's his Insta. If you want to go follow him, his name is Connor McCauley, and he goes by the name Mac. And so, Dean, I put just a short video clip of him in the files that I thought we'd play, just a taste of his music. If we could go ahead and play that one, that would be video number 3. All right.
And I wanna shed some light and issues keeping me awake. I shaking and I hate it, yeah. Saying it's gonna be okay. We gotta believe it though, that no matter what we're facing, there's a light at the end of the tunnel waiting for us to show up to say that we made it through all the times of bending, but we didn't break it, do we not? We're all on the same journey, just different paths, Sometimes I feel the only friend I got in my head. I call him my echo. It's the echo inside.
All right, so there you go, y'all. Yeah, by all means, go follow Connor. He goes by Mac. There's his Instagram, y'all. And hope to have him on the show as a featured guest at some point. and do a little bit of a deep dive into his story and his music. Shout out to that boy Connor, man. We really love to talk to you on the show sometime. So, we also wanted to send a shout out to that boy Kasky, y'all. We talked about him a little bit last week. Always plugging Kasky on the show. Man, we were talking with Tyler about the song he just released about his mom, the 1.3%. And I don't know, maybe it's something in the air right now because just a week ago, Kasky released a song about his mom in a video, Dixie. And just thought we'd put that one out there too, because like I said, we talked about that last week. And so, anyway, there's that boy Tyler, as I mentioned, y'all. By all means, I encourage you to go check out his stuff and listen to his song and watch the video 1.3%. So right now, y'all, we're going to jump into the news, the opioid crisis news, y'all. Just a couple of stories that we pulled this week. And this first one, excuse me, I pulled from The Guardian. And, we follow all the different news outlets, y'all. We're not biased toward one or the other. But this one I thought was interesting. The U.S. announces sanctions against 14 foreign companies for importing fentanyl. And officials said indictments are out there now against Chinese and Canadian firms, that they've targeted for trafficking opiates and specifically fentanyl. And so, it's nice to see that the Fed is paying attention, y'all. And, they really are trying to make an effort. And again, not to get political, it doesn't have anything to do with that. It's just that this is the kind of level that this fentanyl thing has reached, y'all, where we're, as the United States of America, we're literally putting sanctions on other countries like China and Canada because of their involvement with importing fentanyl that's killing so many people. And this is just a little bit more on the story. 14 Chinese and Canadian firms have been served with sanctions and indictments, So, we keep our eyes on the stuff in the news, y'all. And here's another one I thought we'd talk about on an international scale. This is from a new news outlet that I started following. We're going to talk about in just a little bit, but this one is kind of interesting. I don't mean to laugh because it's not funny. I just thought the story was interesting that there's these banners, if you look at that little picture on the left, that are being flown in Mexico by the dreaded Sinaloa cartel, which is, an offshoot of the old Juan Guzman, El Chapo, drug lord. They say that it's this grouping of brothers who took over their father's criminal empire when Guzman was extradited and sent to prison about 5 years ago in 2017. And his sons are known as the Chapitos after their, it says famous, I'd say infamous father. But nonetheless, this story says that they've flown this banner saying that they're declaring they've stopped the production and sale of fentanyl, because as we know, fentanyl, the way the story goes, all started coming into our country from China. And there were all these crackdowns and trying to stop it from coming in through China, so they start sending it all to Mexico, and then it was coming in through Mexico, and that the cartels in Mexico figured out the money is with the fentanyl, not so much with the coke or the pot anymore, and they start fucking making it, bringing it in. Well, then, like we just heard in the previous story, the U.S. is putting sanctions on all these different organizations and, indictments going out, and they're really trying to crack down on this thing down in Mexico. And so now the cartel is actually flying these banners saying that they've stopped the production and sale of fentanyl. However, as it also says in this story, there's a lot of doubts about these banners, and it says it's unclear just exactly who put them up. Is it really the cartel? And then experts, whatever the hell that means, these so called experts, have cast doubts over its authenticity, arguing that fentanyl remains one of the cartel's biggest money makers. And so, anyway, it quotes this former DEA agent, this guy Leo Silva, who told the Reuters news agency that the banners were likely an attempt by this Chapitos group to shift the blame for fentanyl production onto others. And coupled with the extradition of one of the brothers, he thinks it's a ploy to try to take the heat off of them, and he doesn't see them stopping production. So, it's like, what the fuck, man? This shit is so insane. It's just so far out of control. At the end of the day, y'all, it's all about, I don't think we're going to stop these agencies like, the cartels from producing. There's too much fucking money in it, It's all about education and treatment and prevention and stuff. It's all about the end user, this shit's always going to be there, the whole supply and demand thing and the money, they're not going to fucking stop. But I just thought it was interesting that, here allegedly or supposedly the fucking cartel down in Mexico is flying banners saying, hey, y'all, we ain't doing it anymore. We've stopped with the fentanyl. But again, not so sure about the authenticity of that. I just thought we'd talk about it. And like I mentioned, this WION, this is a new news agency I started following this past week, y'all. I follow them all, no conservative or liberal bias here. I just follow them all because they're all doing stories on the fentanyl and opiate fucking craze. It's insane. And they posted this. It says, we're a team of seasoned and daring young journalists of diverse nationalities. World is One. That's what WION stands for. World is One examines global issues with in-depth analysis, and it says their headquarters is based in New Delhi, and they bring us news by the hour. So we'll keep following them, y'all, and hopefully they don't become biased. But anyhow, I just thought I'd talk a little bit about them briefly, y'all. Okay, another story in the news. This is a local one. This is only about 20 minutes from where I live, y'all. I talk a lot in the news about all this stuff going on in San Francisco and, Detroit and Miami and Kentucky and all these different places where the drug craze is out of control. I never talk about shit going on in my own backyard. And believe me, it's everywhere, y'all. It's everywhere. And I didn't want it to seem like I'm picking on any other city. So I thought I'd share this one because this is interesting. Right here in Sacramento, like I said, about 20 minutes from where I live, they did a raid on this house in this suburb of Elk Grove, confiscated guns, 70K, and look at this, 395 pounds of pot. And it just kind of blows my mind, because a lot of times we're so focused on the opioids and the fentanyl and the coke craze and all that, we forget that people are still dealing in illegal pot, even though you can get it legally now at all the dispensaries and everything else all across the country. But people are still dealing in pot under the table. And man, when you're dealing with that much pot, it ain't no fucking joke. So yeah, of course they got guns on hand and everything else. But yeah, you got to be careful with buying pot off the street, because I've heard now even the fucking pot, sometimes they find traces of fentanyl, and Dean, you and I talked about this once on the show before. You were like, well, you were saying that why would you want to kill your own customers with this fentanyl? But it's kind of a catch-22. It's not that the dealers necessarily want to kill their customers. I don't think they give a fuck one way or another. They just want the money. But they are putting the fentanyl out there because they want their shit to be known as the good and keep people coming back for more, like, wow, that was the best dope ever. But they don't know what the fuck they're doing because such a small amount of it can kill somebody when they're mixing it up or putting it in shit. And it does kill people. And now they're even finding fentanyl mixed in with street weed. So, man, if you're a pot smoker, hey, I ain't saying do it. I ain't saying don't do it. What I will say is you're probably safer getting it from a fucking dispensary where it's regulated to some extent and overseen than buying it off the fucking streets, you know. But it's still out there on the streets, y'all. So, anyway, let's transition into the end of the show, y'all. It's been a great show, and I want to thank everybody for calling in. We're going to do a few funny memes right now. And I thought this one was a good transition from the pot story we just did. And of course, we're getting into the holiday season where the old, Charlie Brown Peanuts cartoons are going to be on TV, the Great Pumpkin and the Christmas one. And there's Lucy and Linus. Lucy saying, "Wait a minute, this isn't a pumpkin patch, it's a fucking pot field." And Linus looks like he ain't feeling no pain. So I'd never seen that one before. And I pull these funny memes off of social media throughout the week, y'all. And I thought that was a funny one. You got to have a sense of humor about it, too, right? So moving along. This was a timely one from this past week. Dean, did your phone go off the day they sent out that alarm text message? Yours didn't go
Nope.
off because mine
Nope.
did. I think it was last Tuesday that the Fed sent out this alarm text to every cell phone in the country. I can't believe you didn't get the alarm because everybody else I know that I spoke to got it.
Did you keep it?
Well, it wasn't like it wasn't actually a text. It was an alarm. It came
Ah,
through as a text message, but it was an alarm, and then it actually went over my television as well. But I'm
well,
I'm I'm surprised you didn't get it, man, because
I don't recall seeing it. No.
yeah. Well, they
Hmm.
announced it ahead of time that it was going to be this national emergency alert that they test every few years.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I guess I could go back in my phone and look. Maybe I did save it. I don't know. But anyhow, that's what this was all about. And the whole country supposedly got the alarm. And I don't know, Dean, you fell off the radar on
I
that
guess
one.
so.
Yeah, not sure what
If only I
happened,
could
but
get rid of spam likely not to call me anymore.
yeah, well, anyhow, I just thought we'd show that. It was kind of funny. And then this one, y'all, if you can't make fun of yourself, lighten up a little bit. I actually posted this picture in a reel I put out there promoting this week's show of your old pal Glenn. Yep, that's me all dressed up. This was at actually a place in South Orlando a few years back in Old Town. You can go in there and dress up in the old costumes and they take pictures of you, and we just happened to choose the gangster motif. And there I am with my pistol and Tommy gun, and they put it in a little frame that said I'm wanted by the FBI. So anyhow, I thought that was kind of funny and share that, y'all. And then uh I'm not going to make this show tonight, y'all. I was hoping I might get down there in time, but the podcast went long, and that's okay, because I thought we had a great show. I really appreciate all the people that called in. If we would have wrapped up a little early, I was planning on going to this. It's taking place right now as we speak at the Crest Theater in downtown Sacramento. A group called Get the Lead Out is doing a bunch of Led Zeppelin covers, but they tour all around, and so I'm going to find out where their next stop is, and maybe I'll get to go see them in the future soon. But I was going to show that on my way out the door if I got done in time, but maybe next time, y'all. So anyhow, we'll wrap it up with a couple inspirational quotes. Here, you can borrow my belief in you until you can find yours again. So just thought I'd put that out there, y'all, as we bring the show to an end. We often will say, if you're going through hell, keep fucking going. You'll come through the other side. Our hope with this podcast is that we might attract a viewer, listener who is still trying to get clean, who maybe was online looking for information about how to kick opiates, how to get clean, whatever drug it may be you may be struggling with, like I was when I was trying to kick opiates and get clean. I was Googling how to get off opiates. I was on YouTube searching for information about it. And I came across some good things. There's good stuff out there. But I thought to myself, man, if I can ever get clean again, I think I want to do a podcast because there's nothing out there like what we're doing that hopefully might be an inspiration, as we often say, to even one person to hopefully get clean and stay clean and live clean. And when you're going through hell like that, you don't have a whole lot of belief in yourself. Like I said in that video we shared at the beginning of the show, y'all, I tried to get clean for a hell of a long time this time around, and I had just about given up on ever getting clean again because it was so freaking hard to do. And I just can't tell you how much I appreciate all the people who believed in me till I could believe in myself again. Like some of the folks that called in, like all of the folks that called into the show today, and the people I mentioned in that video, and so many countless others that I can't even begin to mention because the list is so long. So I'll say the same thing to anybody who may be watching or listening on the DL, somebody who may have come across this recorded version of this program because we post it. We're live right now, but after we go off the air live, y'all, this program is posted on the Dare Me Podcast YouTube channels and our other platforms, and it'll be there till the end of time. So, anybody else who may be looking for a way out, trying to get clean, live clean, stay clean, yeah, that's my message to you, man. You can borrow my belief in you until you can find yours again. And just like that boy David who called in earlier, man, can't thank you enough, David, if you're still with us, watching, listening, for being so open and honest with us about your story that you're still using, but you're trying to taper off, wean down, have a plan, very specific plan to get into a drug treatment center and start your life living clean again. You know what I mean? So, yeah, bro, I believe in you because if I can do it, you can fucking do it, man. So just keep going, bro. And then I thought we'd wrap it up with this, y'all. I love this quote from that boy, Marshall Mathers, my homeboy from Detroit City, Eminem. And boy, oh boy, Em, if you ever see this, bro, we would love to have you as a guest on the show. Call in or be a featured guest, man. Talk about living clean and sober. Hey, y'all, you never know. There's an old saying, aim high, soaring, aim low, boring. And you just never know, man. I've heard stranger stories. Might just get through to him one day and maybe have him on the Dare Me podcast to talk about living clean and sober and help be an inspiration to others like we hope we're doing with this show. And I love this quote from him. Rock bottom has built more champions than privilege ever did. So, yeah, going back to that whole thing about the stigma, y'all, the stigma with addiction, people talk a lot about, oh, we don't talk about that, or oh, don't say nothing about that, or oh, God, what are people going to think? No, fuck all that, man. This whole substance abuse disorder, addiction, whatever you want to call it, it's a sickness, y'all, and it is real and in our face. I have yet to meet a family that hasn't been affected by it, and there's no shame in it. No goddamn shame at all. It happens to the best. Park place, park bench, and everywhere in between. And it can happen to anybody, regardless of circumstances. And my experience has been exactly what that boy Marshall's saying right here, man. When you hit bottom and you come out the other side, you're just that much stronger for it, and rock bottom has definitely built more champions than privilege ever did, as he said. So, with all that said, y'all, we're going to call it a show. And I thought we'd share this little message that, again, comes from Narcotics Anonymous. Certainly not from me. I'm no representative, just putting it out there, y'all. This is public information. And it has to do with this message of living drug free. And it says, like the air we breathe, it surrounds us when we share recovery. It flows between us, constantly changing. We can no more keep recovery by holding on to it ourselves than we could keep oxygen by holding our breath. And although that is an NA saying, y'all, it's a philosophy that I try to live by even with this podcast, y'all, because yeah, putting this out there, I certainly hope helps a lot of other people, but it helps me too. And just like it says here, man, keeping this shit all to myself doesn't do a damn bit of good to anybody else if I don't talk about it openly. And as we say, recover out loud. So, by me doing so, I hope that our message today has maybe inspired even one person, and at the very least, hopefully, provided some entertaining content for anybody who may have watched or listened to our show. So, with all that said, oh, look at yeah, you weren't supposed to see that. My little dog Jazzy, she just walked into the room, and look at that, man, our brick wall. That's just a canvas behind me. She just walked in and pulled that back. But hey, anything can happen live. That's one of the things. We used to use a green screen behind me, but Dean didn't like the green screen. And I will say it put a little green hue around me. So I bought this photographer's canvas of the brick wall behind me. But my little dog, she walks in and out of the studio sometimes, and she just came in behind it. I had to talk about it. That was kind of funny. So, anyways, Dean, great show this week. Before we wrap up, though, y'all, I just wanted to say something else because I promised we'd talk about this. First of all, we would very, very much appreciate. I see we still got quite a few viewers and listeners, people in the chat room. Thank you for hanging with us the whole show, y'all, and anybody who may come across the recorded version. We very much appreciate it if you like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Dare Me Podcast YouTube channel. Man, we really have grown in subscribers. We don't have a lot by what most people's standards might be, but by ours, we've grown subscribers by like 1,000% since we started this show. And certainly go follow the Facebook pages, the X, the LinkedIn, all the things. But Dean, I was hoping we could take just a minute to talk about we are about to expand the show. We're going to be adding it to Spotify, which gets us on Anchor and all those podcast platforms now that we're 30 episodes in. But we're also going to be stepping up our reel game. I do all these reels throughout the week where I try to add music and put our logo out there and stuff like that. But we're going to kind of be using, like, if you follow the Joe Rogan podcast, not that we're trying to copycat Joe Rogan or anything, but that is a formula that absolutely is a good one and works promoting podcasts. I love following Joe Rogan on TikTok and watching his reels for his podcast because that's a good podcast. So Dean, why don't you talk, if you would, just briefly about what some of our plans are in the coming weeks with putting some reels out there that'll be excerpts from the show, right?
Well, I guess a big thing is we're trying to do a campaign to really push the YouTube platform, and by doing that, it's shorts, it's the short form reels and whatnot. So we'll call it Cliff Notes from the show.
Yeah, that's a good way to put
little bits and pieces of previous shows that are little highlights, little previews or post views. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that's a great way to describe it, Dean. And not to belabor the issue, but we talked about this once before. Early on in the show, the first few episodes, we started using this AI software where it would pull clips and even put graphics of the conversation, but they just kind of, the AI software wasn't quite pulling the best clips or editing it just the way we wanted. So Dean and I'm going to do some too, but Dean is actually going to be, physically, manually pulling these reels and putting them together and putting them out there. And when we first talked about it, I said, well, Dean, is there any way I could kind of preview some of them first to make sure? And Dean's like, oh, Jesus Christ, Glenn, you know how fucking long that's going to take? And I said, all right, man, I'll release control. Just do it. Put it out there. It is what it is. It's like, hey, I said it. So I'm just giving full free reign of it, man. Let's get the podcast out there. Let's keep promoting it because you know what, y'all? We're making a difference. As you know, Dean, I was going to talk a little bit about a DM I got this past week where someone reached out to me specifically because of this podcast and the things I post on social media, asking for help and for me to talk a little bit with someone they love about getting through their struggles with addiction and going into treatment. And because we had all the callers we did today and whatnot, I didn't go into a deep dive with that. I think I'm going to reserve that for maybe next week's show. But the point I'm making, y'all, is, and not to toot our own horn, that's certainly not it. Not an ego thing here at all, y'all. What I will say is we are making a difference. We are making a difference. We're hearing from people that just blows my mind, who watch and listen to and see our stuff, who reach out to us as a resource. And so that is part of the reason we really want to step our game up and start getting out on some of these other podcast platforms and promoting the show with more of the reels. So Dean, thank you for, your hard work and being willing to step up your game even with promoting the show more as well. So y'all can look for those reels. They're going to be coming out soon on all the social media platforms. It's like I've said, Dean, goddamn, man, I could hire a full-time marketing person because this has become almost a full-time job with me now, y'all. This podcast truly has, now that we've done episode 30, taken on a life of its own. And keeping up with the social media platforms alone is almost full-time work between the Facebook pages, not one, pages, the YouTube channels, LinkedIn, Twitter, which is now X, Threads, all the things, and now adding these more platforms. So, yeah, if anybody's looking for some work help marketing this podcast, please reach out to me. The at Dare Me podcast is our contact information, and yeah, so that's that. Anyway, just thought we should talk about that briefly before we wrapped up. Dean, great show again tonight. Appreciate all your hard work as usual. Anything you want to add before we wrap it up tonight?
Good show. Look for the shorts next, probably starting tomorrow, and yeah, good show tonight.
All right. Well, thank you as always, Dean, and thank you to everyone who participated in, watched, and listened to the show tonight. Episode 30 in the can. Oh, crazy, man. Onward we go. Have a safe week, y'all. We'll talk to you next week on the Dare Me podcast. Good night.